Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a message that we received. The message reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story? I am a 30-year-old colored woman from Johannesburg. So for years, I thought that I was living the dream, and I trusted this man. When he came to South Africa, this man, he started dating my sister. And at that time, he was not yet married. But you could tell that this man was going to become very rich. Even my mom sat down with my sister, telling my sister that all that she was supposed to do was to calm down, not to fight with him over and over again. So they ended up breaking, and then he got married. Since I had supported his relationship for a very long time when he was dating my sister, he then met up with me at this other clothing store where I was working, and then he told me that he wanted me to work for him instead at working at that shop where I was working. So I organized my CV, just gave it to him just for formalities, but I had already gotten the job. And in 2019, after years working for him, I started dating my boss. I know that it is very wrong because he dated my sister as well, and I ended up dating him even though he's a married guy. Things just happened. Beside this man, he's quite a charming man, and he just swept me to my feet, and then we were like perfect, even though I knew that he is married. But being with him, it made me to feel somehow. And after that, he then made me to become his executive assistant. He specifically told me that I had to become his executive assistant because he wanted to spend a lot of time with me. He seemed to have it all by then: luxury cars, multiple properties here in our country as well as back home in his country, and he had connections that opened doors everywhere. He took me to the best restaurants, and he was always buying very expensive gifts for me, and he was treating me like a queen. But there was something about him that quite did not add up. I am not someone that is like highly spiritual. I do go to church, but I always will have these weird vibes whenever I was around him. Some things that just made me to feel somehow. And then when he would look at me, he'll be like, "Are you worried? Are you feeling a weird vibe?" It made me to feel even more weird. Like, I am feeling weird already. And then you come to me, you look at me, then you ask me a lot of questions if I am okay, and why am I looking like I am feeling weird? So he was always involved in secret dealings, constantly taking late night calls and disappearing for hours. Even if I was with him, he would just say that, "Okay, I'm coming back. There is a business call that I need to take." He would go for hours without any explanations. A few months into our relationship, I noticed something strange. Despite being the CEO of his company, he also had connections to a mortuary that operates under a South African company, but he is the one who controls that company. He just took one of his other South African friends and have him there as the owner of the company, but he is the man who pulls the strings and does everything. And that other guy, he is also involved in the occultic world. So both of them, they use this mortuary to do their occultic business. He claimed when I found out about this operation, and he said that it is just a side business to help repatriate undocumented Zimbabwean immigrants who had passed away. So I was like, wow, this guy, he has a good heart. He then explained to me how hard it is for you when you die in a country where you are an immigrant and you have no documentation, because even the host country, can even refuse with your body, not wanting to release your body because you have no documentation. So you were saying that it is quite sad that a body can be in the mortuary even up to 6-7 months, the government refusing to release the body for. There is no way to identify if this person is a Zimbabwean or is a South African. So he said that he is doing this out of his own good heart, locating the relatives of the deceased even to go as far as having DNA samples taken so that the body can be released and to be taken back to his country. And I was amazed, and my love for him grew, even though I knew that the thing that we were doing, it is just adultery, dating a married man. So things started to go more weird when I accidentally stumbled upon some documents at his house. At that time, the wife was not here, so I was staying at his place. This detailed a lot of bizarre rituals and payments, something called a brotherhood. That was the only time that it was mentioned in that 20-page document. It was just said payments to be made to the brotherhood. When I confronted him, he did not deny it. Instead, he explained that he was part of an occultic brotherhood, sort of like a secret society that demands sacrifices in exchange for the wealth that was given to him. He explained it to me that after that breakup that he had with my sister, he then met another woman who was also from his country, who was into these traditional healers, who claimed that she had the marine spirits. So they went to his country for a function that was being held for women that have these marine spirits, and they wanted to be strengthened so that they can get more rich men. Whilst he was there, he said that was the first time that he believed that the ancestors, they are for real. And then he started also speaking with his ancestors until he became a ritualist first in Zim. And when he came here, he then got in touch with an occultic brotherhood. When I had everything, I wanted to leave. This idea of an occultic man, me dating him, it terrified me. He convinced me to stay in this relationship, promising me that I will never be involved. And he has a sweet tongue, the way that he speaks with you, looking at you, holding you. Even if you want to say no, you'll just melt in front of him. He offered me that he was going to give me more money, and he have already bought for me another property, cash. He took it out on a bond, but he then had me paid out in cash after he had given me a lot of money. But things took a chilling turn. This was last year when he asked me to attend one of a party, not knowing that it was a ritual party. He said that it was important for me to stay clean for 7 days. He avoided sleeping with me. He said, I trust you, my babe, but please don't make the mistake of sleeping with another man. Look, I am going to resist your beauty for the next 7 days. I won't touch you. I won't sleep with you. Also, do not touch yourself. Do not do anything that will arouse you sexually for the next 7 days. So for 2 weeks, Brother Nashi, prior to this, he had told me not to eat food that has salt, any salty food. He said, don't do that. Then as for the 7 days, it was more like I was fasting, just small meals to make sure that I won't be aroused for no reason at all. So I then went after he had given me more money. The ritual was unlike anything that I had ever experienced when I was at that party, and I noticed that this was a ritual. So we were taken to this other house, a very beautiful one, and I don't even know where exactly we were. And then I saw that there were other beautiful women that were there, and men like my blesser. He was dressed in a symbolic ceremonial robe that was heavy, dark, the dark color that were on that robe that he was wearing. It was just heavy, even on my soul when I was looking at it, as if this robe, it was alive. I did not even understand what was taking place. And then I was taken to this other room. In the center of a room, there was a casket, which was then opened. A dead body was taken out, a body of a man, and this man was carried back into the main living room of that mansion. And then we were told to go and make a circle. It was me and these other 10 girls. Mainly, we were South African, a couple of girls that were from Swaziland, as well as one girl from Zim. And we were told to kneel down and make a circle around that man who was dead, and he was naked. And then they kept on praying and praying in their weird language. And then we were told to act as if we were having intercourse with this man, until it reached a point that we had to insert his manhood into our cookies, something that terrified me. I wanted to scream, to run. Like, when these ritual things happen, it happens so fast. By the time that the ritual is ended, you'll be there saying, what just happened? What happened here? So there are people that can judge me and say, why did you not run the moment that you saw that the place was weird? Like I told you, this whole thing, when it happened, if I can say that it was more than 5 minutes, I'll be lying. It was all over. And those guys, they were back wearing their beautiful suits and just enjoying their beer as if everything that had happened was normal. So as a human being, when you have that encounter, you won't be able to understand it until after a couple of days, asking yourself exactly happened to you. So that is what happened to me. I am stuck with this man. I still love him despite everything. I don't know. Maybe this man, he used some charms on me. I don't have the courage to dump him. I have tried, believe you me, I have tried to fight with him so that I can dump him in a very bad way, so much that we can hate each other, but I can't. I even find myself crying for no reason at all when he goes back to his country, being depressed until he calls me and tells me that he has arrived successfully in his country. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. It's an obvious case that this man, he did something with you. It is not normal. The obsession that you still have for him, even though he used you in that ritual, and you say that you can't leave him. But let us try to speak with her in the comment section.